Fairholme College and TAFE at school engineering student Harriet has big dreams to design her own car. Despite engineering being a traditionally male-dominated industry, according to the Australian Government's Labour Market Insights website, females share a tiny 6% of the mechanical engineering draftsperson's occupation. But despite that, Harriet is pretty much leading the way for her peers and pursuing her career aspirations. This International Women's Day, it's great to see an upward trend in the number of female students enrolled in traditional trade courses at TAFE Queensland, both here in our region and across the state. And I want to introduce you to Harriet Beattie. Harriet comes from Toowoomba and she joins me now. Harriet Beattie, good morning. Welcome. Great to have a chat to you.
Thank you.
Now, you're in year 10 this year, but you're also studying at TAFE as well.
Yes, I am.
Tell me what you're studying.
I'm studying a Cert 3 in engineering, technical.
And how's that going so far?
I really enjoy it. I think I like it more than school.
Yeah. I think, once these school-based sort of learning at TAFE became common, I don't think I've heard of any student doing it who doesn't say they'd rather be at TAFE than school. But that's just the way it goes, I guess. But it's great to have that option. When you decided to go down the line of engineering, what did your parents or teachers say? Were they surprised or were they supportive right from the get-go?
I think my parents weren't surprised. They're very supportive. I think they always kind of knew that I liked that kind of stuff. But my teachers were quite surprised that I'd chosen a pathway that, wasn't really a big thing at our school.
Right,
and
okay, yeah.
They were surprised that, I had picked something that not many people go into when you're a girl.
Absolutely. And is that, do you know for sure, are you the first student from Fairholme to undertake a course in engineering like this?
I'm actually not quite sure, but I think they were just very interested in that I was doing it, so I don't think there's been many.
No, absolutely. It's still a bit of an anomaly. How do you feel about that? Are you happy to be an anomaly in that regard? Or, do you feel like saying, well, it's actually not that weird,
Well, I just thought it was the same as anybody else's cert that they were doing.
Yeah.
Honestly, it wasn't a big change for me, I guess.
What sparked the interest for you? Where did that come from?
I guess we have a subject at my school called Launch, which is problem solving and engineering, which is kind of I started that in grade 9. From younger, I was always interested in how things worked, mainly. And yeah, that was basically, I was just a very interested kid.
So were you the type, if I don't know, if you got for birthday or Christmas a present that was a gadget or something that could be taken apart, was that the first thing you did?
Yeah, I love taking stuff apart and trying to put it back together. Usually it doesn't go back together, but we can always try it.
That's where the gift giver gets a bit annoyed, we gave it to you and now you've wrecked it. But I suppose that just fueled the passion, I guess.
Yeah, I did.
So tell me, exactly what are you learning at the course that you're doing at TAFE at the moment? What's the focus there?
Right now, my unit that I'm doing at the moment is understanding and interpreting technical drawings. So we get to look at how all the different symbols and how drawings are made and how the standards of drawings were produced and stuff to make them understandable to everybody. Has
that been an interest for you at school so far as well, tech drawing, or is this just
I have never really come across it before, but I really enjoy interpreting the drawings and stuff and being able to go from the drawing to the actual thing.
And at what stage do you go from the interpreting the drawings to the actual sort of hands-on stuff that was obviously the passion that sort of led you to this?
Well, in my using hand tools unit, we had to have a drawing and then produce a draw gauge from it.
Right, okay.
So none of us had really seen any of them before, and we were just given the piece of paper and we were you have to turn this into that on a piece of metal. And I think that was my favorite part so far.
Because to me, it sounds hard just thinking about it.
Yeah, well, he was very helpful. Our teacher's very helpful. He
That is
was explaining to us and how the like the different lines and the thicknesses of the lines worked and stuff like that,
right. Okay,
which was
gotcha.
very good.
But I hate to hark back to the being the, unusual for a female because I would imagine clearly it's not as unusual as some would make it out. So I don't want to
Yeah.
overplay that at all. Don't get me wrong. But can I ask just along those lines, how many girls in your course? Like how many in your course, and what's the gender sort of spread?
Well, in the technical side, the classes of three girls. So in my class, there's the manufacturing engineering, and then there's the technical, and in the technical, there's three girls.
And how many boys?
There's no boys
Right. Okay. Gotcha. And what
in the
about the
technical.
what about the manufacturing side?
I think there's about 5 or 6 boys and one girl in the manufacturing.
Do you find yourself there? When you first started, the boys sort of querying, what the girls were doing there, or is that attitude not as prevalent at TAFE as it might be perhaps at school, for instance?
Well, for me, I didn't really notice any difference. I kind of just thought everybody was doing their own thing and we were all in the class together. There wasn't an obvious difference between the girls and the boys in the course.
So
The
you,
only difference was that when we started doing like the hand tools and stuff, like us girls were very like, stood back from it a bit. And we didn't really go straight into it as the boys because we didn't really want to like, mess it up and be
but
seen as less than the boys, I guess, to not being able to do stuff, I
yeah,
guess.
did that last long?
Not after we were taught properly how to use the machinery.
Gotcha. Yep. So it's just probably that's probably where it comes in that they reckon that girls at this age are far more mature and wise than boys. So you didn't want to mess it up. You were going to stand back and make sure you had it right in your head before
Yeah,
you were going to go. And whereas boys are
yeah,
just let's just give it a go. I think that's
that's
the
pretty
difference in
much.
intelligence, and it falls on the girls' side. I think that
I
yeah,
think so
yeah,
too.
yeah, a bit of extra wisdom there. Absolutely, the boys would never admit to that, but I think it's clearly true. What's the end game? Where do you want to go with this?
Well, my big dream is to be able to design and build my own car.
Wow,
That's the big dream.
how brilliant!
Um, yeah, I've kind of wanted to do that for a while, I guess. That was just always just understanding how everything works, especially in like machinery and stuff
And
and
there's
automobiles.
But there's a lot that goes into that, though, isn't there? I mean, the
Yeah,
the
there's a
design
lot.
stage is crucial for the
Yeah,
practical stage to actually work, I guess. So,
I guess that's helpful that I'm doing like a technical course at the moment, which is more of the designing and like the drawings and stuff.
will all of the study that you need to do to achieve that dream and sort of fine tune those skills, will it all be done at TAFE, like in this course and future courses?
No. So the TAFE course I chose was because it's like the TAFE at schools, which was the most interested to me out of all of the certificates we could have picked in my like the Fairholme College Pathways program. But hopefully after I finish school, so I'm gonna complete this course this year and then focus on my school studies for 11 and 12 and then hopefully go to I think Griffith University
Right.
and study a Bachelor of Mechanical Engineering, which is all I've got to so far.
Yeah, well, you've taken the first bold steps, which is fantastic. And then, I mean, aside from wanting to design and build your own car, in terms of career, do you reckon you'll end up sort of more on the design stage or more on the actual physical construction side of things? What are the ambitions there?
I think I've always been more interested in the actual manufacturing side, but as I've grown to, I guess, mature, I think have grown another passion for the actual designing and being able to get from A to B with literally just a piece of paper.
Fairholme College and TAFE at school engineering student Harriet Beattie. Yeah, and Harriet, I reckon she will get there. She'll design and build her own car and go on to have a fantastic career. She was saying just then, she used to think it was more hands on, but now the design part of that whole process is becoming a little bit more compelling. Who knows? But yeah, got a bright future ahead of her. Lovely to chat to her, Harriet Beattie. There, it's 14 to 9.